There we go. Okay, so once again, we're talking about GoGuardian. I have my son's laptop. It is signed into his school account. This is a Chromebook, but it will work on a Windows and Mac. What you're going to see, it's going to be the same. But just keep in mind, they have to be signed into their browser. So to make sure kids are signing in, you're going to have to go up here to the three dots. And this is different. I'm on a Chromebook right now too. But in here, or not here, but you'll see your little picture.
Kevin,
what?
Can you share your screen?
You know what?
Hey man, we got each other's back, all right?
Yeah, it's just one of those days.
Yeah.
Hey, can I do a take two?
Yeah, let's stop the recording. Stop the recording.
I'll edit this out. We're gonna try this again. There we go. Hey everybody.
Hey Kevin.
No, to change your account, this once again is a Chromebook, so it's already logged into one user. But up here, you would see your little picture. On your Windows or Mac, you see your little icon, your avatar. You have to click that on, and we'll show students how to do that. They have to be signed into the browser for this to work. If they're not signed in, this isn't going to work. Okay. And once again, as I said in the breakout session, I think GoGuardian is a lot better than NetOp in terms of user interface. I think it's really easy to use. So I think when we eventually get back on campus, I think we'll all be a lot happier. Hold on. That meeting somehow got started. I think we'll all just be a little bit happier for being back and having GoGuardian instead of NetOp. NetOp was not as nice, clunky interface, but it did the job. So let's just look at GoGuardian. Now, once again, I hope you guys, if you were interested in GoGuardian, you were able to attend the breakout session hosted by Wendy and Tammy, and I think Rod was also there, because they've been using this a lot longer than I have. I was told about it at the very end, probably the last like 2 to 3 weeks of 4 weeks, maybe of closure that last month, but I didn't really have time to look at it. And so Amanda, welcome to Mall High School, and her account's been locked out. So you're going to sign in with Google. Not clever. I don't know if that's what you did, Amanda. So
I signed in with Google.
Okay, that's
and I contacted tech support through GoGuardian. They are the ones that told me it was deactivated.
Okay, super. Yeah, they're going to have to reset it. And they're swamped, but yeah, just tell them hopefully it moves up the priority list. So if you sign into GoGuardian, we were told last year at the end of the school year that your classes would automatically populate. So I'm just curious, if you go to GoGuardian, are your classes there for this year? Okay, Andrew gave me a thumbs up. I'll take that. If you need to add your classes, it's over hidden off to the right. So if you're on a laptop, this doesn't sort of adjust on its own. You do have to scroll over, click Add Classroom, and you can add it via Google. So that'd be the easiest way to do it. And my phone just turned on. Great. So you can see here, I have 3 classes. I still have last year's math analysis class. This one is the one we'll be looking at, the test distance learning class. That's the one I've put my son into. And then the staff one, it pulled that in for me. So I'm going to go through this one. So what we have here are sessions. And one of the problems that we had with NetOp was that, especially me, I was probably the worst offender of this one. But I would start NetOp like the day of a test because I didn't want those kids cheating. I locked them down to a website and they couldn't go anywhere. Class left, I would forget to turn off NetOp, and then I'd get a call from somebody like, hey, Kevin, you forgot to turn off NetOp. This kid can't get onto his Chromebook. Can you? And I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. So in GoGuardian, what's very nice is they have sessions. So they're timed sessions. So depending on how long your class is, you can go ahead and set it for how long you're going to be using the Chromebooks. So an hour, 45 minutes, hour and a half, 2 hours. And that means that as soon as that time is done, GoGuardian shuts off for that class. that to me is very, very helpful. I wish I would have had that because I would have used it every time I had a test. Because like I said, I would always forget to turn it off. Let me go back. And you could exclude students from a session. And I would have to do this sometimes too with NetOp, is that if, let's say I have somebody that's making up a test or 2 or 3 people taking tests, I want them to be in on this session, but I don't want anybody else. So I would have to exclude people from that. I only have 1 person in the class, so it's not going to look very nice. The other thing is this applying a scene. So what you could do with scenes is you could have default settings for your class. Like for me, if I'm doing a test day, I would say you are locked down to this browser. And so I'm going to create a scene, and I'm going to just call this Socrative because that's what I always used. And then what I would do is I would say, this is kind of confusing. It's defaulted to allow everything. But if I want to block stuff, I would have this. So this is what most people would put for a test day, is you would say, I want you to block everything but this one website. So I would say all websites will be blocked except for those below. And all I would say is Socrative.com. Okay, so then now when this scene is started, they cannot go on to any site but Socrative. And we'll test it out with my son's device right here. So I'm going to save this. I have it saved for Socrative. You could change the pattern. I don't know what the pattern does. I tested it. The kids don't see it. I don't know. I guess it's just for the teacher when you're dragging. So I'm going to go ahead and start a session now. You can see here, I'm going to apply this Socrative scene. And I'm starting it. So there's, you can see my son's screen is loading. And I'll pull this back over here. It's blocked because it's not Socrative. Does that make sense? It should. And just so you know, the sheet that was open, let me move this back down. The scene that was open, or the web page that was open on my son's laptop, was just his portal page. So even the portal page will be blocked. So let me go to Socrative. And you can see it's now it's unblocked. So you could go there. Unfortunately, so if we look at now the tile, you could see down here, if I'm coming back to my screen, if you look down here in the bottom left, you could see I get a thumbnail of what he's doing. He's looking at Socrative, and I'm going to go ahead and click the login button. The student, you can see it popped up as the option of which one do I want to be. And there it goes. So you could see that I could see as he's kind of going. It's not complete real time, but it's pretty close. And if you click on it, you could see the screen open. You can see the bigger, his whole screen actually. The other thing we talked about is if you look at my screen right now, and NetOp did do this, GoGuardian doesn't. But you could see up here, I have the staff page open, I have this Meet open, I have the Chrome add-ons from the last session. Let me close that open. And then this class. So I could see just by looking at my screen, I have 2 other tabs open. But with GoGuardian, it doesn't. It just literally shows you what's inside the browser. That's my cat. You see the other tabs here. Now, if I open up another tab, it should just pop up that a new tab was opened, and that's the active tab. Okay, and this should switch over, or maybe it doesn't because it's an active tab. Let me go to a website. Go to ESPN, and it's blocked. Okay. The nice thing about GoGuardian 2 is, let's say you tell the students, hey, I want you to go to like nasa.gov. So you say, okay, everybody just go to nasa.gov. And you go there and you're like, oh man, this thing's blocked. What I could do quickly is I could unblock it for the entire class just with one click. So I could click that, update the scene, And now this should go through. There it goes. I didn't click it. So now I've unblocked it for everything. Okay. What you could also see here is you have a chat box. So you could chat directly to the students. The chat is turned off by default, but you could click it on, and I'm going to send a message. Wow. That's a big planet. And you can see down here, let me show you. Down here, you can see like a little chat windows appeared for him to chat. And it's also here. I guess if I could just show you on this screen since we're sharing. But it's also there. That student could click on that chat. So I'll click on it. I could see that my conversation pops up. And I would say, yeah, it is. Because that's how kids talk. And you could see that's kind of how it is. Richard, I was going to use that one, but this is being recorded. So anyways, so that's the chat feature. But once again, here's where it kind of falls flat is I can't see, this is a Chromebook, so it only has Chrome on it. Chromebooks are good. Like I could see exactly what he's doing on this computer. So cross your fingers that if you want to use this for testing security, kids that have Chromebooks, they're at a disadvantage because they can't do anything. You could see what they're doing at all times. But if I was to have him log into the Windows laptop, he would be able to open up Edge. He'd be open up Firefox. He could open up another Chrome another Chrome browser that he's not signed into, and nothing shows up on this. I couldn't see anything. Nothing would show up. So that's why we were saying this whole time, this is very good for when these students get back to school. But for right now, it's not the best thing in the world. So let me just wrap this up real quick before we start sharing out methods of assessments. So I'm going to close up his thing. I'm going to end the session. End it. End session here. And this is the other thing that's nice. It shows you per student what they were on the whole time. So if you don't have it locked down because you're like, you know what, I'm going to trust you guys. We're all, you're almost adults here. We're going to let you have your freedom. And then you go on it later and you see that they're on ESPN or they're on, I don't know, whatever sites kids go on nowadays. I'm too old. But you would be able to see YouTube. You'd be able to see everything that's been open there on the bottom, and then you could easily tell these kids like, hey, look, you're on the wrong sites, we're going to lock you down, whatever. There was also a snapshot button that I didn't show you guys, but it's easy just to click the little camera icon at any time to take a picture of what is on their screen. And I've done that before, and this is where I think NetOp was a little bit better with their screenshots. Because what I was able to do when I would take a screenshot is you would also get the tabs on top. So it's like, I see them taking a test here, but I see this tab open here. I'm going to screenshot this, and now I've got the tab as well that shows where you were. Whereas this is just going to screenshot the picture. But once again, the sessions are where you want to lock down your sites. And let me go over that one more time, just because that might have been a little... went through that fast. So go over here to sessions, your scenes. So once again, everything's allowed by default. And if you want to, you would be adding in websites you don't want them to go to. So let's say you're an English teacher and you're looking for them to cite sources. I think I'm going to block Wikipedia, because that's not a site I want them to be going on, but kids do. So I would type in Wikipedia and say, everything's allowed but Wikipedia. So that's where you would kind of use that. The blocked mode, if you want to start a day where you're reviewing for something or you're just doing normal class, you block it. And GoGuardian does a nice job because they give you a lot of commonly used sites. So you can see Kahoot here, Kami, Desmos. All of the G Suite products can be thrown in there, so you don't have to worry about that. We don't use Pearson, but you could also create your own list of all the sites that you want them to be doing. Like, this is what I want for like review day. I want them to be able to go to Kahoot. I want them to be able to go to, I don't know, whatever Google stuff. So that's what I would want to do there. So that is nice. It's very quick and easy to just set things and do it. In NetOp, it was a little, it was clunky to get everything set up, and you couldn't have it like one click, this is what we're doing today. And then it gives you the opportunity to create an edit list again. So once again, I think this is going to be very, very helpful when we get back to school. But in terms of distance learning, what we kind of were hoping for was that you could see their entire screen no matter where they were logged in. And GoGuardian just doesn't do that. So I'm going to go ahead and answer any questions on GoGuardian, and then let me see. I'm scrolling back up. There's Amanda. Populated twice. Okay, good job, Andrew. Phones would be the problem. Can't see what they pull up on their phone. Yeah. Feature cat. Jerry, he's outside. And I'm looking right outside the window, and he jumped up on the windowsill and was staring at me while he was meowing, and the window's open. Yeah. Where? I'm sorry that you couldn't see. Oh, I don't see it either. Oh, there. It kind of stops when I move. There, I see it. Okay. Richard, no, I believe that was the sun we were looking at, or maybe Mars. It is Mars because it's red. And can you distinguish which suite items you want? Let's see. So I'm in block mode. This is my Google Suite. If I click it on, well, let me just go here to this one. If I click that on, you see that there's this little arrow that's created. If I click that on, you can see these are all the sites that are allowed to go through. So if I click on one of them, nope. What she was probably hoping, which is what I was hoping, is that I could go in and manually just click them off and say, you know what? No, I don't want this. So no, you're going to have to manually add these. So if you want them to, if you manually want to see, if you want them to stay on like Google Docs but not go to slides or anything else, you would just have to allow Google Docs. That's a bummer. Yeah, Andrew, all you can see is what you're basically what's in that current tab. Let me go back to my sons. I'll start the session up again and I'll show you. Hang on, go back. Let me start this up. So right now on his Chromebook, there's 3 tabs open. So I'm just going to start. I don't care what they're doing. So on your screen, you would have all your students here. Okay. Right now I have just one. You can see there's the chat button to turn off and on. The off tasks alert I haven't played with. Highlight students if their browsing website's not related to a class subject. Well, that's interesting. I've not tried it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to put him, he's a math student. And let's go with moderate. Is it moderate? It's math. And it hasn't blocked it. I haven't got a warning on him. I would say going to something like ESPN is not math related. Let's see if it gets a pop-up here. So far, no alert saying that I'm on an off task site. Let me see if I turn this thing to strict. Oh, you have to be on for more than 15 seconds. So I see moderate if they're on for 30 seconds, strict if it's 15. Yeah, I'm going to go strict. Who wouldn't? All right, see what happens. In the meantime, Andrew, you can see here, if you look at the thumbnail that's sort of, oh, there it is. I just got a notification. So it says down here at the bottom that Ryan's been off task for 37 seconds. And he's the only one, but you could get more. So I'm going to turn that off. That's actually nice. I didn't know that was there. But real quick, Andrew, you can see I have ESPN on the current window. And I can't see exactly what they're doing, but I just know they're on Socrative and then a different version of Socrative. I just see those little icons. I can't remember what they're called for websites. But that's all you can see there. So, yeah, I wish that I could at least see the tabs up top or see more. And if I want to, I could click it on to go full screen. Let me see. Let me click him on again. And down here, you could see that here's the screenshot function I kind of mentioned at the beginning of this. I could just click this. It's going to take a screenshot of his page. And we have that. Oh, and by the way, you can go close tabs because you're being controlled. So you see him, he's still not listening. I could just hit close and it just closed on his laptop too. So that's nice. I mean, like I said, when we get back to school, I think GoGuardian's really good, but in terms of we want something to stop them from cheating now, I don't think this is it. So let me end this session. Andrew, all you would get is when you open up a new tab, you saw how there were like two icons down there for the Socrative sites. If you opened up a new tab, you would just see another one that said like new tab. That's all you would get. Oh, and no browser. Yeah, correct. Yeah, I tested that multiple times. I tried first with Edge and then Firefox, and it didn't show. Then I said, well, maybe if it's a Chrome browser, it might detect it. And it was a Chrome browser that he was not logged into, and it still didn't detect it. So, yeah. Okay. ESPN has stats. That's math.
Kevin, are we paying for GoGuardian right now?
We are. GoGuardian is. I'm closing my son's laptop. GoGuardian is our official. NetOp does not work anymore. GoGuardian's really good. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's just not what we needed to do. NetOp actually does what we needed to do, but it just so happened that we were in the process of leaving NetOp. Probably early second semester, we were told we're going to probably be leaving NetOp and adopting something else. We didn't know what it was, but we knew it wasn't going to be NetOp. And we went into closure and we were like, oh my gosh, NetOp actually does what we could see their entire screens. If they close their tab, whatever they're doing on that desktop, we could see. But by then it would already been in place that we were leaving NetOp. So there wasn't anything we could do.
So is it possible for us to not tell the kids that we can't see their entire thing and just put on that one little alarm like you just had on when you went on to ESPN? Is it possible just to do that?
Yeah, you can tell them.
Not let them know that we can't see the entire screen?
Yeah, Eric brought up a somewhat of a good sort of indicator. As you could see, this sort of dead period where I'm off task. Or you could see. Well, let me see back, Eric. I don't know if it tells you if I'm not doing anything. I've done so many of these with him. Let me go to this one. It's the longest one. So this one just tells me. It doesn't tell me if I'm not doing anything on it. It just tells me what tab I'm on. Yeah. It doesn't tell me how long I'm at. Yeah, you could always, bluff your way into making these kids think you could see everything, but you can't. Yeah. This sort of snapshot at the end. You could see these are all the sites during this. It was all blocked because we were testing the blocking.
I guess, hey, Kevin, I guess what I was asking is if they open up a different tab or a new browser, would it indicate that they have left your GoGuardian browser to go somewhere else?
Nope. As long as they don't physically close the browser and it stays open, they could do whatever they can minimize it. I've tested the minimizing it. There's no notification because it's not closed. So even when they minimize it, I'm still seeing the screen that they were on.
Hey, Kevin,
Yes.
have you played around with the, there's a lock device command? What does that do? Like you locking the student's browser?
I have not played around with that. You want to do it right now?
Well, I
Let's
would
do it.
need to, I think you lock it on like a student, an actual student.
Let's
Like
see. Let me log him back in.
I'm just reading like the help thing on GoGuardian.
Well, NetOp had the same sort of function where you could lock kids' browser or lock their screen. So a lot of those functions are the same. I think NetOp is just cleaner. I'm sorry, GoGuardian I think is cleaner. So it says students offline. That's because I'm logging in. Let's see how long it takes. Okay, it's loaded. I want to see how long it takes for the there it goes. That's actually not that bad. Janet, I would assume she said, could you send suggestions? Yeah, there's always a feedback embedded into every program, and you can send feedback that way. I'm going to be very I'd be shocked if they haven't already had that suggestion. So Andrew wants to know the lock student, so you could click it on here. Lock the student's device. Pay attention. Oh, I did test this. I remember this little, I guess he's a raccoon, I guess is what that is.
Oh, so you just can't use a computer at all.
No. Oh God, no. He can do whatever he wants. He can still go where, yeah. Once again, it's just locking this browser. So he can go ahead and, but this is a Chromebook. So you can see, this is why I said, if you have students that are using Chromebooks during distance learning, man, they're going to hate you, because if you use this, they really can't do anything, because you can see down at the bottom, everything's been disabled.
Yeah.
Whereas if this was on, because I did test this on the desktop, the Windows one, you'll see that they'll be able to just be like, okay, I'm just going to go here. So yeah, like I said, guys, this is not the best you could do is see everybody's screen, have a meet. I would actually just do a meet and have everybody's picture up there, or do Zoom, whatever you want to use for your video conferencing, to where you could see them. But honestly, that's why we wanted to kind of just talk about ideas for assessments, because our normal pen and paper tests, they're definitely going to be compromised during this time. And they're not going to be, if you're looking for a true indicator of what a kid is learning, that's not going to be it, because they're just going to be able to do, you know, with their phone, like Janet said, or they could just open up a new browser and just look at it that way. So it's not a true assessment. By the way, before I finish here and we start talking, this is a new button, so I'm curious. Oh. So this is new. Trying to see this. What are mini students? I'm sorry, I'm just reading everything with you guys. So it actually gives you a lecture mode. But you can't see them because their webcam's not available. Interesting. I don't think we would ever want to do this unless we would ask the district to unlock this one about recording it. I think most teachers like recording, whether it's on Zoom, Meet, WebEx. I think teachers like to record their stuff. And this thing, the lecturing, I don't know. I think you guys like to record your lectures, or not record them, but you can't record it here, but you also can't see your students. You won't be able to see them. Interesting. Oh, that is new. Okay. So any questions about GoGuardian before we start sharing out? Let me close this. Wow. This is very funny. So there's the screen. If I go to close it, it just pops back up because it's locked. So man, like I said, when you're for Chromebooks, this is going to be a very good tool, but it's not what we want for distance learning, unfortunately. Man, I hope that doesn't pop up every time. Teachers won't want to use that. Okay. That's basically it for me. So I figured we'd spend the last like 20 minutes sharing different ideas. I'll go ahead and start for distance learning for math. What I ended up doing, I did not do assessments because I knew the cheating was rampant. So what I ended up doing is having them create a portfolio through Google Sites, and they would have to talk about the notes. They'd have to give examples from the notes, and I would have them record videos, whether some students did it on Flipgrid, but I just need them video recording them. I would give them problems, and I'd have them working out and explaining. They'd be graded on the explanation of them working out the problems using the correct terminology. And even then, I know there could be somebody that says, oh, this is what you have to say. This is what you, I mean, but it's still a little bit better than taking one of my tests and it gets out there and then it's just out there forever. So I had them building portfolios. I don't know if I would do that again or I might tweak it. But I think we were all pushed in a position of trying something new. And Justin is absolutely correct. He says cheater's going to cheat. Yeah, authentic assessment might be through discussion. And that's kind of like what I was hoping would happen with the portfolio, but kids could talk to other kids. If I had time in the day to where I could pull kids and do one-on-one meets with them and say, here, solve this problem, or here, work this problem out, that'd be great. But geez, we all have like 150 kids. My God, you just need a week off for that. But you're right. Talking is the only way you're going to figure it out. So I will now officially open up the floor. I'm going to stop presenting. And if anybody else wants to chime in, I don't see any other questions about GoGuardian. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording. And it goes